Hi, my name is Roger Schluter. This video today is really on the Sba Express Program. This program is either hated or liked. It's liked by a lot of banks for certain reasons, and for one reason it's really hated by a lot of banks. But anyway, the Sba Express Loan Program is where a bank can lend up to $500,000 to an eligible borrower. Eligibility has to be it's usually the regular eligibility for SBA has to be a for-profit company, eligible business, legal business, occupied or used, no investment property, and then the has to be bank eligible too. So the bank will be using their own forms and procedures, except for the SBA Form 1919. So really, a business may not even know if it's that they're doing an SBA loan. So anyway, because it is, all the documents are really going to be, except for the application, that's the 1919. All the documents are going to be bank documents and procedures. So the business really probably won't know unless the bank wants to tell them. The credit decision is really made by the lender. And that's huge too, because sometimes lenders in SBA think differently, and they, I've had a lot of loans that I thought were just shoe-ins, and then the SBA would have problems with it. And I've had other ones that I thought was going to be a big problem, and SBA approved them right away. So sometimes there's a difference of opinion, between banks or between lenders and between SBA. The interest rate. The lenders and borrowers can negotiate an interest rate, but it still cannot be above the max by SBA. And the max by SBA for the larger loans, or most of the loans will be the larger ones, and that would be 2 3/4 plus prime. So the SBA does not want it to exceed that. Now for smaller loans, there is different rates, and they really go up, because SBA has a problem with banks doing smaller loans. Most banks, let's face it, if it's a loan, under 25,000, they won't do. Under 50,000, they probably won't do. A lot of times when it's between 50 and 100, that's pretty iffy. And then usually banks want to do loans over 100,000, and they prefer them to be, the larger the better, really, for the bank. One of the big things about this loan is the turnaround time. The turnaround time is 36 hours. That's basically a day and a half. That's huge. I mean, I've seen SBA loans, on some of the other programs. They could take weeks, could take, a month. So that's a very good turnaround time. So anyway, some of the terms, a lot of these are going to be used for revolving lines of credit, as I'm going to touch on a little bit later. But they can do lines of credit up to 7 years with maturity extensions permitted on the outset. So, most of the banks are going to know what they're permitted to use and what they're not. Most banks don't want to do lines of credit for very long unless they can go ahead and do maturity extensions when it's going to mature, and they can do an extension on it. Now, they do like that, but they don't like doing long-term lines of credit because they want to be able to get out of it. They want to be able to turn it off if they need to. The SBA Express Program, the collateral, it actually, up to 25,000, you don't have to have any collateral according to the SBA. Now, sometimes banks may want you to put up collateral anyway, but that's pretty big. Existing collateral policy for loans that are 25,000 up to 350 and probably up to 500. That would be the existing policy of the bank. SBA guarantee to the bank. Now, this is the real kicker. This is the one I talked about earlier that I said I'll tell you about later. The guarantee is only 50%. This is a killer, man. This is a kicker. 50% guarantee. That's why a lot of banks usually will only use it on lines of credit where they may lose all their money. So 50% isn't so bad then. But when you get the difference from other SBA loans, being like 75, 85, under certain circumstances, 90%, that 50% ain't much. So anyway, that's, but there's a lot of reasons why the banks still use it. When I was in banking, I didn't think much of the 50% guarantee. I'm sorry, I really didn't like it. I thought it was very low, and I didn't see it where it helped me out that much. Um, there just wasn't enough justification to do the deal half the time. So why do banks use the program? I mean, if this is such a big deal, and it was a big deal to me, why do they use the program? Well, there is probably about 5 or 6 advantages to really doing the express loan with SBA. Number one would be banks make their own credit decision. This is huge for a bank. They do like this. Number two, banks use their own forms. Banks don't like using SBA forms. They like using their own forms because it has protections in them that they like. And you know, you almost have to read SBA forms to really see exactly what's in them, but I guarantee you there will be a difference of what's in them from the banks to the to the SBAs. Their turnaround time, 36 hours, is fantastic. I mean, that's just great. Very, very quick. The collateral, none up to $25,000. Now that's an incentive maybe to do a $25,000 loan. You know, I could see a lot of borrowers wanting that because they don't like putting up collateral. The max loan up to $500,000. That's really good. I mean, most SBA loans, 7A and 504, you can do up to $5 million. But for this type of loan, you know, up to $500,000, and they know they're not going to do a 50% guarantee for a huge loan. You know, they're just not going to do it. So anyway, or the bank's not going to want it. They're going to want a higher guarantee for the larger loans. So a max loan up to $500,000 is nice. They can cover a lot of ground. They can do a lot of loans, a lot of lines of credit. Lines of credit they don't want to be that large anyway. The guarantee, 50%. I don't know, for me, it's not a real advantage. But, you know, like I said, banks like making their own decision. They like using their own forms. And they love that 36-hour turnaround time. So it really is a good program, Sba Express Loan Program. Like I said before, a lot of times when you go into a bank saying, oh, I want to use SBA, they kind of think it may not be that great of a loan if you're bringing it up. So usually if you want to go in, if you want to get a line of credit, you may go into a bank, you know, apply for a line of credit, and then if they don't bring it up, and they would turn down your loan, then that's a good time to say, hey, you know, SBA's got this express loan program I heard about, and it could be right down this alley for my loan. A lot of times they'll go ahead and use it then. So, you know, it just depends. Usually I tell people when you're getting a loan, I wouldn't mention SBA. I wouldn't walk in and say, yeah, I want to make an SBA loan, because like I said, it has certain, believe it or not, has certain negative connotations with it for you bringing it up. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people that look at SBA loans and they want to, you know, get one, but it's usually reserved if there's something wrong with the project. And that's why SBA is used to augment those problems that they have. This is the end of the video. It's a very short video. There was, you know, Express program. It's an Express. It's pretty quick. So anyway, if you like this content, if you like information on loans and you know, mainly commercial loans, but really all the genre around commercial lending and commercial loans, bank loans, you know, and other types of lenders too. You know, if you would subscribe, that'd be great. If you hit the bell notification, you get notified when I do new loans. And then too, if you bring something, if you really you know, take away something on this, something of value, I hope you'd hit the like button. So anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.